All right, good morning, KW Milwaukee. How's everybody doing? So first of all, I got to apologize because last week we were a little bit interrupted. And as I said before, we had to flex and learn how to do both, to go 100% virtual in March of 2020. And now we're flexing to learn how to do the hybrid where you can be digitally based and physically enhanced, right? So shout out to the group. I'm sitting over in North Shore this morning. We have about 40 people here live. I know there's about 30 to 40 people live out in Lake Country. Shout out to, there's a group over in Tosa. Kathleen Wooten is actually helping us launch a new program that we're piloting today. So shout out to Wooten and Lindsay Vranick, who are helping lead a group over in Tosa this morning. But super stoked for the last team meeting right before 4th of July. And I want to focus on two things for this group today. First of all, one, we're going to talk a little bit about pricing. And for those of you who were here last week, I went through the Cliff Notes version really quickly, but I want to make sure that we share it. And Brian's back on again today to talk about the cost of waiting and the impact it has on when people purchase a home. They're actually purchasing a payment, right? And helping people understand as homes continue to appreciate what the impact is on their bottom line to their monthly budget. So we'll go through that. And then I'm going to start it off though with a little bit of a seed that I planted last week with an incredible discussion that I led on Friday with the admin mastermind. So we'll get into that first. But first of all, big shout out to Kelly Nicolancy, who helped lead our volunteer and organization efforts for the tour of America's Dairyland that went through downtown Tosa on Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening that KW sponsored. We sponsored the kids race. There were 357 kids who entered the kids race. You can see here, it went right through downtown Tosa, and we were excited as a way to help us introduce KW to the Tosa community and give back to the community that we're kind of launching and kind of partnering in to go through. But you can see 357 kids participated. It was a great day. Those Strider bikes, if you haven't seen a kid on a Strider bike, check it out. It's hilarious. But there's Kelly, the volunteer coordinator for the event. And then big shout out to Deanne Hansen, who went out to help her as well, and her husband, Chuck. They were a part of the cheer team. But big shout out to those guys as we participated in the tours of America's Dairyland out in Tosa. So last week, Friday, at 10 o'clock, I hosted the admin team mastermind, and it was an incredible discussion with really, quite frankly, it was like everybody's top people that run big teams. And I was thinking about a lot of discussions I've had with agents. And what I've heard, and it's funny, it's been a 3-year theme. The 3-year theme is everybody says, I'm tired, right? Like you feel like you're running on a treadmill and you don't know when the treadmill is going to stop, right? And it's been a 3-year theme because I tell you this why. In 2019, it was one of the hottest residential real estate markets. And we're like, wow, I don't know if it can get better than 2019. Then 2020 hit. And we're like, wow, I don't know if we'll ever be able to replicate what we had in 2019, considering the business was down 80% in the month of April. It was down 70% in the month of May. And we were like, whew, like, all right, here we go. And then 2020 totally turned around the back half of the year, and it was better than 2019, which no one would have, guessed. And then we go ahead here into 21, and everybody's like, when are we going to get a breath, right? And I'm feeling it from the agent side. And so I poured into the group for about an hour on the admin side to talk about a balanced life. And I'm not going to go into that full discussion today, but I want to give you 2 Cliff Notes things to think about. Is I know many, many people will be probably taking Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off next week to like recharge your batteries. Okay. And my job as your leader is not to come down on you with things. My job is to plant seeds to make you think. So my goal this morning is to plant a seed to make you think, and it is your job to water the seed to allow it to sprout. You feel me? Cool. All right. So here's what I want you to think about. There was a quote we shared that comes from a book. And here is the quote. It's, imagine life is a game in which you're juggling 5 balls. The balls are called work, family, health, friends, and integrity. And you're keeping all of them in the air, but one day you finally come to understand that work is a rubber ball. If you drop it, it will bounce back. The other four balls, family, health, friends, integrity, are made of glass. And I'm going to repeat that. The other four balls, family, health, friends, integrity, are made of glass. If you drop one of these, it will be irrevocably scuffed, nicked, perhaps even shattered. Right? And so I want to give you this perspective, or I want to plant a seed as you head into 4th of July. And I know everybody's really been running hard since January, February timeframe to take advantage of the market of the moment. Is the work aspect of what you do in the lives that you change effectively has a major impact on like your family situation, other family situations. And at the end of the day, we have to have a very solid perspective that it's still just a rubber ball. And what I mean by that is there will be another deal tomorrow. There will be another deal after that. And at the end of the day, what we deal with isn't life or death. However, as we head into 4th of July weekend and you think about where your life is currently, let's just call it the halfway through the year, right? What do your glass balls look like? And what are your relationships with your family? What is your relationship with your health? What is your relationship with your friends? And how and where is your moral compass sit, halfway through the year? So what I would do is I would encourage this group is to take a step back from the market of the moment the next couple of days as we head into 4th of July to really hone in on this concept that what we do is just simply a rubber ball that will continue to bounce. And it's our ability to manage the bounce is what will be able to manage effectively the other glass balls within our life. Okay. And one of the things I want you to think about, right? And this comes from a course called Quantum Leap. And in my opinion, it's the best course I've ever taken. But there was this 6 disciplines of a wealthy person's life, right? And they called it the personal thermostat. And we talked about the 6 disciplines. And so one of the things I want you to think about as you head into 4th of July and as it relates to your rubber ball and glass balls is this, right? The first discipline of a wealthy person's life is self. Okay, so what I mean by the first discipline of self means what's the reality of your mindset? What's the reality of persistent action? How are you taking care of yourself so that you can show up in the best way, both personally and professionally? Because if you're not taking care of yourself, here's what I know. It shows up when you serve your clients. It's a fact. Like when I get client complaints to the office, we call them and I say, hey, Joe Smith, what's going on in life? And they're like, this person was just a bad person to deal with. I'm like, no, but were you showing up in your West Bay? And he's like, no. And then usually something comes out about what's going on in life. And you're like, okay, let's focus on yourself first. Because if we fix yourself, we'll fix the client relationship, right? The second discipline around your personal thermostat is your spiritual self. And this has nothing to do with faith per se. It has everything to do with your spirit and your ethos as a person, right? And how are you taking a mindset of thankfulness or gratitude heading into 4th of July weekend to put your life into perspective and spiritually center yourself around what it is that you do, how it is that you serve, and and the purpose in which the why that you do what you do, right? So it's usually family, kids, whatever it may be. So focus on your spiritual self. 3 is physical self. And if I hammer on anything more than anything else today, what's your nutrition habits look like? What does your exercise habits look like? How are you managing your stress? And what are you doing for your outlets? Right? I'll give you an example. I had a tough day yesterday. Megan was gone yesterday on showings at night. I came home. My 4-year-old didn't want to eat mac and cheese, and I blew up on him. And I had to take a moment to center myself to say, listen, Chase just didn't want mac and cheese. Like, that's not the end of the world, right? But it was how I showed up at home because of other things that happened throughout the course of the day that made me stop to say, like, it's just mac and cheese. You know what I mean? But how are you managing your physical self so that you have outlets to manage your stress or manage your nutrition, your exercise, things like that? Next thing, 6 disciplines, right, of a wealthy person's life is time. And, one of the core principles that I've had in 2021 that I shared with this group earlier in the year was, for me, time is consistent. You have 24 hours in a day. I have no different time than Jay Schmidt does, than Bruce does, than Karen does, than Paul Nikolic does, or anybody else. We all have 24 hours in a day. The only thing that makes some people more successful than others is how they efficiently use their time, right? And how they manage, right? Like their outlets for stress, how they play, how they work, all those sorts of things, because they don't have any more time in the day than anybody else, right? Next, two more, money. I think the biggest single mistake that our industry makes is there's fast money to be made in real estate and people are not watching their dollars and cents. And what usually happens is when you aren't paying attention to your personal finances, it creates friction in your personal relationships with your spouse or partner, or it shows up in a business relationship, because the number one reason why teams break up, it's always over money, nothing else. Right? So how are you paying attention to your money? How are you managing your money? And how are you effectively have a healthy relationship with it? Because I think so many times people just don't have a healthy relationship, which is why they get into trouble, because they make poor decisions because they don't have clarity to their financial situation, right? And then the last thing is growth. How are you growing? How are you building habits? How are you developing? And how are you continuously moving the ball forward personally and professionally? Right? So as you head into 4th of July and many of you begin to take a little bit of some time off, which I think is very much healthy and very much needed into 4th of July, I would challenge you to think about the rubber ball as it relates to your glass balls and how are you managing the 6 disciplines of your life, and take a personal thermostat as to where you are and where you want to go for the rest of the year. Because here's what I do know. The truth is success is wanting something and getting it. And happiness happens on the way to fulfillment. Okay? Happiness happens because you fulfilled it, and you got to take a good look at those 6 personal habits. Last thing I'll leave you with, and the group totally laughed at this when I put this on the page last week, Friday, but if you're not honing in on this, you can't make sound judgment. And sound judgment starts with 3 things. It starts with your diet, it starts with your exercise, and it starts with your rest and how you're managing your rest. And you can't make sound decisions if any 3 of those are out of whack to focus on those 6 personal perspectives. Make sense? So I use this as an opportunity to ground this group heading into 4th of July to say, what are we focusing on and how are you spending your time over the 4th of July to make sure that your glass balls are taken care of? Because these things are what can help you effectively manage the stressors of our industry and what's going on in the market at the moment. Okay, so take some time to focus on that as you head into 4th of July and have fun. Use it as an outlet of stress and go Bucks. Okay. So here we go. Someone like that. I liked it. Price appreciation. Last week I talked about this a little bit, and I'm going to give you some quick perspective on what's happened over the last 12 months, okay, from a price appreciation standpoint. What you see up here on the screen right now is price appreciation per square foot by county. So I pulled Milwaukee County, Waukesha County, Ozaukee County, Racine County to give you guys perspective. The reason why I use price per square foot is it's a fixed number, right? Where home values, when we look at median or average, can go up or down based on what's going on of the rubber band effect of the market. When you look at price per square foot, it's a fixed value. If an 1,800 square foot home and it was $200 a square foot and it's now $250 a square foot, like you can see there's actual growth there because the square footage number doesn't change. So a couple things to note. In Milwaukee County, in the last 12 months, there's been an 18% price appreciation on price per square foot. Waukesha was 13, Ozaukee was 8.5, Racine was 4. Now, put this in perspective for you. If you bought a $300,000 home in Milwaukee County a year ago, that home today is now worth $352,000. Okay. The net worth that's gained in this country over the last 12 months, everybody wants to talk about the stock market. The single largest determinant growth of net worth over the last 12 months is equity gains on people's personal property. Okay. And Brian's going to talk a little bit about that here in a second. Now, again, for perspective, what I provided next was I pulled the 3 major communities of Elm Grove, Brookfield, and Tosa, right? And some of these, when you break it down at the community level, because there are fewer homes or fewer units that have closed over that same time period, what you can see is these numbers can widely greatly. So like for Elm Grove, for example, that rubber band can jump pretty high if all of a sudden a $4 million home sells and the price per square foot goes higher. So again, I provide the community-based numbers for you as perspective to just tell people as a nugget of what's going on within their communities. The county level is a little bit more of a broader scope because it helps mitigate the high end and the low end to give you a better picture. But you can see here for Elm Grove, Brookfield, and Tosa, right? Next, I pulled the Lake Country communities. So what's going on in the Lake Country market? Delafield, Heartland, Oconomowoc, Waukesha. Again, same thing here. When you really look at it, the Lake Country communities, because they have homes that really could sell on the extreme high end. Like I believe there was a home that sold recently for 7.2 million. If you miss a sale or you make a sale within those price points for those communities, it can really have a yo-yo effect on these. But if you really look at it, I mean, Delafield, even though it's down 13%, in 2021, the average price per square foot was $230, right? Oconomowoc, 187, Waukesha, the city of Waukesha was 165. Now, when you pull specifically the North Shore communities, right? We started with just the city of Milwaukee. Everybody wants to talk about how big metro areas are dying. Here's all you need to tell them. The city of Milwaukee in the last 12 months is up 20% on price per square foot. That's true appreciation of value. And if anything, it's telling you the city of Milwaukee, like, don't listen to what's going on. And I don't really know what's going on. Emily could probably provide better context, like Chicago, New York, wherever. Like, pay attention, because Milwaukee, we're up 20% on price per square foot. That's real appreciation. Shorewood's at 4. Interestingly enough, Whitefish Bay is up 10%. It is the highest price per square foot community in southeastern Wisconsin in 2021 at $250 a square foot. Fox Point up 23%. Bayside has had a really nice bounce back, and I think it's truly due to the lack of inventory within the marketplace, up 40% versus last year. River Hills is unchanged, but again, similarly, River Hills could have one property that sells for a couple million, and it could totally change that metric. And then you could see Mequon's had a nice bounce back. So with that, I provide this to you as context because Brian's going to jump in here to talk about the cost of waiting and what's happened with the price appreciation so that you guys can effectively help navigate the conversation with your buyers. So Brian, and I'm flipping it over to you.
Thanks, Charlie. Go Bucks. Hey, I wanted to jump with a quote today from Mike Lofton. I thought this was really relevant. We need to stop seeing housing as a reward for financial success and instead see it as a critical tool that can facilitate financial success. Affordable home ownership is not the capstone of economic well-being. It is the cornerstone. So KW Crew, one of the things that I'm always looking to do as a value add is help provide you with information that you can then in turn share with your prospective client base to help set you apart from the competition, right? All about differentiators. And in doing so, ultimately helping you become more successful. And I'm a big believer, as Charlie talked about before, planting seeds to make you think. I'm a big believer in perspective change, paradigm shifts. If we think differently, if we show things to our clients to help them think differently, it leads to taking different action. So today I wanted to talk again, as Charlie talked about, the true cost of waiting to buy real estate. You know, we're all guilty in both the real estate and lending industry of using phrases like, there's never been a better time to buy, but the question is why? And that wasn't intended to rhyme, but it did. So I would write that down. And so what I want to do is I want to show you some pieces that you can show your clients to see why now is the best time to buy. So next slide, please. So in this scenario, what I did is I said, hey, let's take a property in Wauwatosa that was purchased 1 year ago in 2020 with a 20% down payment. Charlie, I was 1% off. I think I used 18% appreciation for this illustration. So we're going to be pretty close. So property value last year, 325. This year, with that appreciation, we're at 383.5. So the difference in appreciation there, $58,500. Here's the one thing that I think most buyers miss out on. They look at the appreciation of the real estate value. What they don't recognize, what they really don't think about is because they're using other people's money to buy the real estate, the return on investment that they make is really a function. It's a function of how much they put down relative to what the equity gain is. So again, last year, if they would have bought that home for $325 and they put $65,000 down in this illustration, which is a 20% down payment, that property appreciates $58,500. That $65,000 investment they made literally almost doubled. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I can't think of anything shy of maybe Bitcoin. But then again, that's probably a bad example because there would have been so much loss in that. But literally, where can you go to be able to double your money in that period of time? So that one slide there is, I think, something that I would really recommend that you put it into your buyer seller pitch book. Next slide, please. Here's the other thing. We're going to take a look at what the mortgage payment difference was. So again, same exact property last year, 2020, as of this date, and I look back in the archives, we saw 30-year fixed rates at 3.13%. So you would have yielded a monthly payment of $1114.28 for principal and interest, right? Taxes and insurance I left out. As of the date that I put this together last week, we showed the 30-year at 2.93. And just a caveat, that assumed paying 1 point. So last year, this year, we actually saw the rates go down a little bit, but because it costs more to buy that home, they actually saw their mortgage payment jump $167 for that same property. And if we take that and we stretch it out of the course of a 30-year period of time, guys, that's $60,000 in additional principal and interest payments. And even though the interest rates are less now than they were last year, they would pay an additional $13,500 just because they paid more to buy that property. And here's another key point. If last year they ran their analysis and they said, you know what, I want to keep my payment at $1114.28. In order to do that this year, it actually would have, they would actually have to spend $50,000 less to maintain that mortgage payment. So let's take a look at, I think we've got one more slide here. So all that said, yeah, so here's the thing. The key takeaways, the buyer is actually going to pay an additional $69,000 for that property by waiting. And that's a lot of money. So then we jump to the next slide, which talks about what is it going to look like? Actually, you know what? I think our slides are a little bit out of order. Let's go to the slide number 5. I think it says, what if we wait till next year? Yeah, what if we wait till next year? All right, and now let's jump to the next page. So again, 2020, that property cost $325. This year it's $383.5. Well, let's just assume for a minute that we actually jump another 18%. That same property next year is going to cost the buyer $452,000. Again, now we've lost another $69,000 in equity appreciation. Next slide, please. And the last thing we've got to factor into this equation, and this is key, rates have been phenomenally low, 3.13 last year, 2.93. What if we see rates normalize and we push towards 3.75%? So we take that same property in 2022 and their mortgage payment jumps up from $1,281 to $1,676. That's a difference of $394, right? They're going to pay $142,000 in extra principal and interest payments over 30 years and $107,000 in total interest paid. Next slide, please. So we've got, Charlie can share this slide deck with everybody. We actually have some customized cost of waiting. I guess we would call these slide deck cards. So as you can see with the 3 that we're showing here, we've got various different price points. So we've got one for 300, 500, 200. And in these slide deck cards we put together for you, what we did is rather than show you what it would cost to wait a year from now, we put slides together to simply say, what if you waited until next quarter where we're going to see interest rates climb a little bit And the CoreLogic price forecast is showing a 1.9% appreciation. So, we're not even going to the other extremes, but in every single one of these cases, you're going to be able to easily, quickly, and impactfully demonstrate to your buyers, guys, waiting doesn't make sense. And again, the key here is we can show them the information rather than telling them the information. So my recommendation here would be, guys, add the slides to your presentation book. And then if you want to just jump 2 more slides here. Yeah, text. If you go ahead and shoot me a text to 899-6243, just text the word deck. We'll go ahead and we'll get those customized slides pieces to you. We'll help you guys personalize your buyer presentation book. And last but not least, Blake and I are here to talk about a number of other things that we can do to help you and your buyers win more deals. So thanks for having us today.
Clute, thank you. Guys, one of the things I would tell you is, if there was one nugget you took from a lot of numbers, right? If you were trying to think like, okay, what's my takeaway here? A $62,000 down payment, I believe, right, Brian, or $65,000 investment on a 20% down on that home in Tosa yielded someone a $58,000 gain.
Yep.
I'd make that bet all day and twice on Sundays. So if you have people who are worried about equity gains, the cost of losing out on the equity gain is far greater than waiting. And so it's helping people understand, the investment side of it. It actually makes a lot of sense from a balance sheet perspective.
Absolutely.
Cool. Brian, thanks for jumping on again this week, and sorry for the tech issues last week.
No worries. All good. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. All right, guys. So we're jumping into it next, and I'm leading off with one thing, and I've talked about. I'm going to lead into a conversation with Lindsay Vranick, and I've shared this with this group on several occasions around the 4 fundamentals of a listing agent. Okay, a listing agent has 4 fundamental principles. Okay, here's what they are. 1, you have to secure the listing. Okay, the number 1 priority is you got to take a listing. 2, you got to market the hell out of a listing. Okay, you got to tell everybody that you got a new listing. 3, you have to sell the thing. 4, you have to market the sale. Right? So 4 fundamentals of a listing agent when you take a listing are secure the listing, market the listing, sell the listing, market the sale. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It's why all the big teams are able to scale their business, because they understand this one simple concept. And the simple concept is this: your primary objective when you take a listing is that all listings should have babies. All listings should have babies. And so are you achieving the 4 fundamentals of becoming a listing agent at the highest level to ensure that your listings can have babies? That's what Lindsay and Connie are going to talk about here real quickly in a sec. All right, Lindsay, I'm flipping it over to you and Connie for a conversation around how to ensure people's listings have babies.
Yeah, thanks, Charlie. So I wanted to talk about direct mail. So that is what our tech workshops are on this week. And I wanted to highlight Connie Cummings and the results that she received when she sent out a just sold postcard. And so she did this through the direct mail campaigns within Command. So she had a listing in Oconomowoc. It sold in 2 days, and she's marketing that sale. And so what she did was she sent out 114 standard postcards to surrounding homes in that same subdivision. The total cost of those 114 postcards is just over $67, as you can see on the screen. And she got some amazing results from this postcard. And so take a look at the front and the back of the postcard. So this is a design template that is already in Command. It's in the design section. And so she customized it. So she pulled in the listing photos, and then she added, her contact information, her downloading her app link. And then she also highlighted, on the back there, she said, we have a high demand for homes in your neighborhood. In Long Meadow subdivision, there was a 12% square foot increase from 2019 to 2020. Give me a call for a free market pricing on your home. So you guys, it works. Look at those results. I'm going to toss it over to Connie, and she's going to give a little bit more context into this postcard and the results that she received. As you can see, one listing she got for $462,000 and one referral for $500,000. So Connie, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. I actually have to give Lindsay credit for all of this because you go in her classes and you learn it all. And then when you get on the computer and you start doing it, you always forget fine details like how to put a little box or a square around the subdivision just to get those homes in there. So I want to thank her for being on call all the time for everybody. The house sold in 2 days. It was an easy house to sell, honestly. You have them sometimes. Sometimes the ones that you list, you think are going to go fast, that don't. So I was fortunate enough that this one did. I just took the template out of the designs and I just put the information in that I got from Charlie that morning. I just looked at the numbers, added them up, found out how much the price increase was from 1 year to the next in that subdivision, sent it out, and for $67.26, the commission on it was $34,632. So, I mean, it was definitely worth your time and money to put it in. The nice thing is I went right through command. They do everything, 59 cents a postcard, and they had it in 4 days. So the owner of the house, actually right across the street, called, wanted me to list his house, and he said, by the way, my cousin is selling his house too. Do you think you could go talk to him? Well, yeah, definitely. So it worked out well, and now because I have 2 in that subdivision, this week I'm actually sending out a postcard with both houses sold, and I'm going to put that I'm the neighborhood specialist because I sold 2 houses within 6 months. So that's it.
Awesome, Connie. Thanks for sharing. So you guys, this is, like she said, it's super simple. The template's already in command. You plug in your information, you grab 1 or 2 stats that Charlie presents during these team meetings, and you send it out. Even if you don't have a listing, you can still send out these postcards, whether it's brand awareness, whether you just want to put out some market stats surrounding a certain subdivision that you want to specialize in. We have the content. It's just sending it out, and it's super easy to do so. So that's what tech workshops are on today in Tosa at 1 o'clock, and then Lake Country, same training, 11 o'clock right after productivity. So bring your laptop. I want these workshops to be hands-on. I want you guys to set up that template and send it out before you leave the class.
I did facts in postcards also because, I mean, a lot of people get postcards in the mail. Do you want to sell your house? Do you want to sell your house? I like a little bit of a fact in there or a number that may trigger someone's mind because some people look at pictures, some people look at numbers. So if you have a little bit of everything there to grab somebody's senses, I think it just gives you a little bit better response on it.
Cool.
Yeah, great point, Connie. All right, so you guys, again, so if you can't make training, feel free to schedule one-on-one. I will be in Tosa all day today. I have a lot of times open tomorrow in the North Shore office. So whether you want to meet in person or over Zoom, head to my Calendly link, make an appointment. I'm available. I'm available in Lake Country on Thursday. So if you guys want to set up an appointment before the long weekend, don't hesitate to reach out with any questions or schedule a meeting.
Awesome. Thanks, Lindsay. All right. So next up, we have training and education for this week. I can figure out how to work Charlie's deck. All right. So I want to show you guys, again, on the website, we're continuing to add a bunch of resources on here. The training calendar I know can be very confusing because we are in 3 different locations and we're virtual, and sometimes it's hard to know where everything is. So for July, what we've done.
Once my computer catches up.
Is we've made it really easy to add it all to your Google Calendar. So in one easy step, you can put the entire training calendar into your Google Calendar, and it has all the addresses, the Zoom links, everything on there. So if you go to kwrealtymilwaukee.com and you scroll down to the training calendar here, all you'll do is click the Google Calendar link, and you'll see all of our events for the month of July. Simply click this little add Google Calendar, and it'll add the entire training calendar with all of the details to your Google Calendar. And that way you'll know where we are all the time. So go ahead and do that for July. If I can get back to the deck here.
Show them a few other things that you added though this week to this from a resources standpoint.
Okay. Yes, so we're continuing to add stuff to this website. So we're trying to put a one-stop shop for everything you guys need, right? So if you see there's a new tab here for yard signs, you can order sign installation directly through our website now with both Wisconsin Signs and West Allis Blue, as well as if you need to order more signs, riders, open house tents, anything like that, custom signs, you just click and order in here. So here's all the pricing, all of that. And we've made it really easy. We're just adding any sign purchases to your monthly invoice too. So it's just an easy click and go. If you need help designing signs, all this does is it's sending an email to Lindsay and myself. So you're not actually paying for anything. We'll reach out, confirm your order, see if you need any help with anything, but please go ahead and use this for any sign ordering needs. We've also added some listing resources. So go ahead in here to check out everything about title, transaction management, and getting pre-approved for a loan. And then after the 4th of July, I'm really excited. We're going to have a one-stop shop for all your marketing needs. So social media suites, listing presentations, open house flyers, you name it, it's all going to be in here. They'll design it for you. If you just want the digital assets, you can pay one price. If you want to pick up the print packet of everything you need from any FedEx near you, you can order the print materials too. So we'll get more into that, once it's available, but that's what we're working on. So
our goal is to deliver the easy button. And if you don't want to manage your marketing and we partnered with FedEx and we partnered with a marketing company, they'll take the whole thing and run with it. And you just say, either send it out to my database or I want to pick it up at my local FedEx location. Huge time.
Yeah.
Huge leverage.
Yep. Also, in addition to that, another thing that's going to be available is even your 12 direct postcards. So if you want to set up a 12 by 12, but you don't have the time to do it or the design, you can order that in there as well. And then Lindsay and I can help plug it into your command and you're rocking and rolling. So stay tuned for that. We're really excited about it. All right.
As we reload.
Okay, and then this week, I will hand the mic over to Amanda. What do we have today for launch coaching at 10:30? She may not be on, but launch coaching is happening today at 10:30. And then there she is.
Hey there. Sorry, it took a minute. So launch coaching is in person today at the North Shore office at 10:30. And we're talking about being the agent other agents love to work with. This, especially in this market, is huge, to be that agent that they know that they can work with easily, who's a great communicator, who's a solid person. That can be the difference between your client's offer getting accepted or not. And as the market shifts, that'll be true for listings too. So we'll talk also about that cover page that I like to put on my offers. So it'll be a little workshop and some discussion. I'd love to see you there at 10:30.
Awesome. Thanks, Amanda. And then just a reminder, there is no productivity coaching this week because of the 4th of July. So if you're looking for stuff to do, go on the YouTube channel and watch some old stuff. Just a reminder, there's a few more of these WRA legal updates. So July 6th is cash offers, no financing contingency. That's the time team meeting usually is, but there's no team meeting on the 6th. So go ahead and check that out. And then the last one is July 8th, specific seller terms of the offer. July training calendar is available now. So we will make sure to get this out in the insights and resources, or you can add it right now. It's all loaded into that Google Calendar that I just showed you on kwrealtymilwaukee.com. Okay, Mega Camp. We have some really exciting details. Britton out in Lake Country worked really hard on creating our own Milwaukee experience. So I'm super excited to announce that we have booked a venue. We will be at Bottle House 42. It's the old Glass and Griddle right in the Deer District. Really awesome venue. We've booked out the whole place. We have rooms for the main sessions. We're going to have breakout rooms. My favorite part is there's a rooftop patio and bar. So we're going to have a lot of fun. We'll send out the link to RSVP for this. There are only 200 spots available, and it's with all of the market centers in Milwaukee. So Southwest, and everybody is going to be joining us. So you'll hear from a lot of other people that you don't get to see all the time. So we'll send out the link to that. It's $20. We'll have box lunches, we'll have all kinds of stuff, and then most likely some other breakout events and things that we're kind of still working on planning. So some other, chances to mastermind with people who have similar goals and businesses as yourself, as well as we're going to have a tech lab and all kinds of things. So should be really fun. We also have some hotel blocks as well. So if you want to spend the night, $99 for the Hyatt Regency, we're going to make it an all night, all day thing, just like we did in Austin. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure to mark your calendars for that. More details we'll keep rolling out, but we'll get you that in the insights and resources. And that's it for training and education. So.
So guys, you can see, I think the biggest goal that our goal for you is, and I got to give a big shout out to both Lindsay, Mandy, Megan, Casey, is again, we're trying to provide you easy button resources. And we recognize one of the friction points was an agent has the 4 fundamentals when they gain a listing, and they need to market the listing and they need to market the sale of the listing. And we want to make it easy access for you to push things out. And you don't want to have to go in and create a design, do all these things. Great. We will farm it out. It's called leverage, right? So really cool stuff coming in the month of July there. And then the other thing is, I alluded to this last week, but Mega Camp, which last time we went to Mega Camp in Austin, Texas, we brought 86 people between North Shore and Lake Country to go spend an incredible amount of time together to learn from each other and spend a bunch of money in Austin, Texas. And one of the things that we realized over the last year is for those of us who have a lot of friends in the service industry and a lot of friends who work downtown has been decimated over the last 18 months. And so our goal of it is to not only bring people together so that you can learn from top people in and around southeastern Wisconsin. Our goal of it is to create an influx of cash to downtown. And it may not seem like a lot, but we're going to invest a ton in the space. I know the reason why Glass and Griddle is renamed to Bottle House 42 is because they had a tough year last year and they're trying to reinvent themselves. Some of the hotels, right? So we're going to provide opportunities for ways in which for those of us who've been very blessed in real estate to have phenomenal years over the last 12 months is to say, great, let's all get together, let's learn from each other, and let's go spend money downtown to support those to help them get back on their feet. So stay tuned for more details on that, but we're super excited about hosting an incredible event for all of you to grow your businesses and to participate downtown if you haven't been down there yet during the Bucks playoff run. Cool. All right, I'm going to wrap it up with the market level insights over the 5-county metro area. And here's what you need to know. We still haven't hit the apex. So I'm giving you permission to take your foot off the gas heading into 4th of July, because here's what I also know. The market dips. You can see the 2-year historical average of showing time activity. The market dips over a holiday period. It happens every holiday. It's cool. Relax. Focus on the 6 disciplines we talked about this morning. And then when we get back into it, be ready to put it right into 6th gear and go 100 miles an hour, because I think the apex of the market will happen in July and August. I really do. I think the market has shifted from the historical spring selling to summer and fall. Now, we're very fortunate in the state of Wisconsin. What you see here in the orange line is where we were in 2021. We're slightly behind where we were in 2020, but we're ahead of where we were in 2019 in terms of buyer activity within the marketplace. When you look here across North America now 21 is trending behind both 2020 and 2019 in terms of buyer activity. So again, we're in a very fortunate and blessed position here in Wisconsin to have continued really strong residential real estate market. Now, as it relates to sales absorption and what's going on within the marketplace, the dip, and reminder, sales absorption is the percentage of inventory that goes under contract. It's an indication of demand within the marketplace. What you need to know is we always see a dip right leading into the 4th of July and right after the 4th of July. So this does not concern me, considering if you look at it going back to the first week of April, we've been pretty consistently above 15% sales absorption on a week over week basis. It means demand continues to remain really strong, and there's good news still to come as it relates to inventory. Now, units that are going under contract on a weekly basis. Last week, there were 640 units that went under contract. Again, it was a dip from what we saw over the prior 2 weeks where we saw above 700, but still really, really positive. And a dip is expected heading into holiday weekends. Not concerning to me from a trend perspective. Where I will be paying attention is the week coming out of, I think it's July 8th and on, is what happens towards the end of July, that we see the bounce back that we usually see over 4th of July, and that we get back to above June levels. And if we get above June levels, it tells me that we, again, are continuing to rise within the marketplace and the apex is coming. Okay. Now, here, new inventory units. What you can see here is the linear line graph that tells you the trend within the marketplace. What the trend is telling you is it's going like this. And that's a really, really healthy trend line that we've all been waiting to see since, I mean, if you just look, the worst of the market was January, February, and we've only been on a rise since. We really haven't seen a dip. And even last week's dip, there were 874 units that were new to the marketplace, was still higher than any of the previous 3 or 4 dips that we've seen that were all around 700. So it's positive news as it relates to new inventory units. And then here is the impact it's had on total inventory. And you can see here, total inventory continues to trend up, which is still down around 25 to 30% for where it should be in the month of June. But it's a positive sign that we're rebuilding the marketplace. And if I were to share anything with my buyers, not only would I share with them Brian's information around equity gains and the cost of waiting, I would show these 2 slides to provide them that there is hope and that there is inventory coming, and that we need to continue to remain vigilant and patient within the marketplace, because these are all very positive signs. Cool. Awesome, guys. That is your team meeting for the week. I hope you guys have an incredible day. North Shore and Tosa Crew, I'll flip over to new listings and buyer needs. For those of you who want to throw stuff out, Lake Country Crew, I'll let you jump over to the Lake Country meetup. Thanks, guys, for coming.